I actually quite like dirt huts. So in this video, I'm going to try my best to make the best dirt hut I possibly can in Minecraft. It's going to look awesome from the outside, if I can help it, and it's also going to be filled to the brim with all sorts of interesting redstone contraptions. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm thinking first things first, this is the perfect biome for a dirt hut. I mean, it just will fit right in, and I reckon we should build it somewhere about here. This is a really nice spot to live. I wouldn't mind living in this tiny Look at the size of this savannah, that's hilarious. Anyway, building wise, this is the sort of thing that I'm going for. We kind of have like a very organic looking dirt hut. Gone are the days of a completely square dirt block. We're going to try our best to make this kind of melt into the landscape a little bit. I don't really know the technical building terms, I'm more of a redstone guy myself. But despite this, I fumbled through and this is what I've got so far. So it looks quite nice. I think one thing that I am going to add is a few of these little things just to really kind of sell the fact that this is part of the landscape. And then also, what else can I add? Maybe some leaves. I can actually add, if I grab some of these, I guess they will come out this color, won't they? Yes. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, this is this is looking pretty sweet. And this, I think, is the finished product. I'm really happy with it. It's exactly how I pictured it in my head. The only thing that's given me issues is the interior. The interior is a nightmare. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start filling it with redstone contraptions and things, and hopefully we can gradually make it look cool. And that all starts with the door. Obviously the entrance is pretty important, so we need to do something special here. And, I mean, it doesn't get much more perfect than just gravel dropping out the way. I mean, look how perfectly that gravel door blends in with the rest of the build. It's spot on. And what's even better is, it's crazy simple. For anyone who's built one of these doors before, you know that it doesn't actually require too much redstone, so if we just hit this button, we now have a perfectly good entrance into our little base. Nice, and it will all close up behind us, and then, I'm now locked in. Okay, we need a button on this side too. 30 seconds later, perfect. Right, okay, next up, I would say there's a little something that I really want to work on that I think fits in perfectly with this build, but is a tiny bit on the strange side. Now, originally I thought this was going to be simple. The idea was that we had little storage containers right here. I hit the button, the composter drops down beneath the ground, gets filled up with the stack of the items shown on these item frames right here, and then pops back up, almost like a little item parcel type thing. I thought it was a really cool little detail, and for some reason in my head, I thought this was going to be easy. But as you can see, they're ending up being quite comically large. The issue is that there's not much space between them, so you have to kind of work in a one wide area, and that stretches things out massively. I mean, look at the size of this thing. So I think it might be smart to just scale things back a tiny bit. And this is what we've ended up with. If I flick this lever, I get all of my steak nicely delivered into my composter. If I flick this lever, I get redstone delivered into this composter. The reason that we've had to swap out the firework rockets is because you can't drop items into composters, so we had to use dispensers, and if you put firework rockets into dispensers, you actually end up with a firework display in your house, which you probably don't want. And then this last one, of course, is ender pearls. Very nice and simple. Now I want this house to feel super Minecrafty, so as you can see I'm adding very Minecrafty things in place, and I'm also using Minecrafty blocks. When I think of Minecraft, I always think of wooden planks, simply because I think that's what I started building with when I first started playing Minecraft. Now another thing that comes to mind is minecart chests for some reason. I want to make a minecart chest based storage system. I want it to be mobile, which could be bold. Now when I say mobile, I don't necessarily mean mobile in the sense that you would expect with minecart chests, with rails and things. I actually mean with slime blocks. What I want to do is I want to launch all of the chests up and down between the floors that we're going to have in this build. So if I just chuck in, let's say for example, a minecart chest here, I then need to break this rail, and then if I power this piston, how high does this go? That is about perfect. Alright, maybe that timing wasn't quite so hot. Oh, it's so close. I mean, I suppose there's nothing stopping us placing them on slabs. That actually looks quite cool like that. And it looks even cooler now that we've actually got all of the item frames and all of the signs in place. This is a nice little storage system. Then when we're on the ground floor, we can just hit a button that will obviously be on the ground floor, and we can request our storage system to drop down to that level. Then when we need it back up here, hit the button, it all pops back up. Universal storage throughout the base. I like this thing a lot. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, but earlier on in the episode, I kind of put this little divider wall in place just to make it feel a little bit less like a gigantic, well, mound of dirt, because it is a gigantic mound of dirt. So out the back here, I thought I would start adding in some of the slightly more useful things. So we have things like super smelters, and then I thought over in this area, we can actually have ourselves double crafting bench swappers, because, you know, as I've mentioned a couple times now, Minecraft isn't as simple as it used to be. We now have multiple crafting benches to work with, and we need to be able to swap them around. And it's so funny, this redstone circuit right here is from, I would say, 2012. I'd say 2012 was when I first created this thing, and I would still say it's probably one of my favorite redstone circuits, because it's so simple. So if we just get ourselves, so we've got the loom left, and then we also have the stone cutter. Those are the other two that I want to swap between. Now I want my stone cutter down there, I want my loom here. If we flick the lever, look at this. This is perfect. Everyone needs one of these in their base in Minecraft 1.14. It's like a Swiss Army knife, but for crafting benches, not knives. Now I'm just trying to think what the average person would have for the rest of their build. I mean, maybe a handful of barrels there. That could be potentially for, let's say we have coal and maybe some other bits and pieces, whatever. I like the look of barrels. I'm using barrels for decoration. They can be filled with junk for all I care. But then I thought, actually, I might be on the right track for junk items, because you end up with plenty of them by playing Minecraft. So these could be literally chests for junk. Now you may notice that I've got this area right here. This is actually how we're going to be getting downstairs. I really like the idea of having a little elevator which drops the floor away and takes us down to the next level. That would be super sweet. I feel like I've done an exceptionally good job at labeling my junk chests, because nobody cares about ice. Anyway, onto this elevator now, and I've been thinking, I reckon it's probably smart for me to use a flying machine. If I was to do some kind of crazy piston extender here, that would be a nightmare. This is a huge piston extender. So I think if I just punch out some space down here, build up a little flying machine that then goes back and forth, zips up and down, that's probably the way to go. Now, I know that makes things sound seriously complicated. Some people, when they hear the term flying machine, just instantly shut off. They're like, that's way over the top of my head. But trust me, flying machines are easy. The simplest ones, they involve just 2 pistons and like 2 slime blocks. I mean, just look at this thing, look. Oh, that's embarrassing. That totally should have worked. I don't understand why it stopped working. It must have got stuck on something. Trust me, they are still simple, okay? Believe me. So here is our completed system. So if we hit this button right here, we can request the elevator. Generally speaking, the elevator is actually going to sit up at the top, just so it looks nice and pretty up here. But then when we hit the button, down we go. And now we're on the ground level of our little dirt hut. So this is where the storage chests can be. Now we have to make this place pretty as well, and that's also a bit of a challenge. Well, of course, the first thing that we need to work on is our mobile storage system. So I've got myself set up with all the framework and everything. I've got the item frames in place. It's looking a lot better. And now all I have to do is connect up this little button right here into that little piece of blue wool without breaking any of the redstone. So we need to kind of wrap it around like this. And that should just about do it. So if I hit this button, there are our chests. And then if I want to send them back up to the top, then I just hit that button right there. They've shot up, and now they're on the top level. This thing, I really like this. But now that that's done, I mean, what next? What comes up? What do we want downstairs? Come on. Well, obviously, as mentioned earlier on, we need that nether portal, and something that I always say with nether portals is I hate the sound that they make. So, have to be toggleable for me. Especially because the sound when toggling it off, oh, it's just the best. Another thing that we definitely need is some form of bedroom area, which this kind of is going to be my bedroom. Now, I thought I could kind of divide off this space right here, and then if we grab ourselves some beds. One thing that also is incredibly handy is because we're in a cave, we can't really tell when it is dark. It would be very good to have some form of redstone lamp that only turns on exactly when you're able to sleep. It's actually a little bit more complicated than you expect. Now, it's not hugely complicated, but you just need to reduce the amount of signal coming out of the daylight sensor. So there it was. That lamp literally just turned on And that is literally the moment that I am able to start sleeping. What are the chances of that? I was about to demonstrate that you can't sleep until the light turns on, but I think that did a pretty good job. We actually have a gap big enough here to fit something that I would say is really, really useful. You'll see it popping up quite a lot in a lot of my redstone houses, but that's because they're handy. Anvil refilling stations is very annoying running out of anvils when you're trying to do a repairing session or getting new enchantments and things. So with just a simple redstone build, you can actually stock them up. And now that it's built, it looks a little bit like this. So my anvil breaks, I hit the button, fresh anvil. Anvil breaks again, getting unlucky, fresh anvil. Why would you not want this? I mean, it barely takes up any room whatsoever. It has been so long since I've built any form of automatic brewing station. Okay, it's been ages, to the point where I can't even remember the mechanics of a brewing station. In fact, I haven't brewed a potion for probably about a year. So this is all new to me. I hope nothing has changed in recent Minecraft updates, because I think this little system right here could work well. So we can have two of these next to one another. Well, the actual brewing side of things seems to be working. The interesting part is when we hit the button again. You see, the way that this works is it kind of pre-brews potions for you. So it actually already has kind of 3 potions in the chamber. When you hit the button, you just get given those potions, but then it re-brews some more potions so that when you come back again and hit the button, you get those potions that have already been brewed. It's quite a smart little system. So this chest is empty. When we hit this button right here, that should drop out those potions. There we go. So we have got 3 of these little fellas, and then these are now being rebrewed so that we'll have more in the ammo stack kind of thing later on. I hope that made sense. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yeah, this is an old design, old school Minecraft redstone at its finest. And with 2 of them jammed into that little area there, I think we can all agree that it actually looks pretty cool. Oh, I should probably put some item frames up that tell people what the potions are, because otherwise they're going to be confused. Nice. Okay, right, next up, this area here. Now, originally this was chests for a little while, but then I thought, you know, I don't really like the look of it just being one flat wall, so I thought we could have a kind of separate room in here. And I'm really struggling as to what I put in here. I thought maybe enchanting table, but the dimensions are slightly off, and that would drive me mad. But we do kind of need one. Maybe we put an enchanting table over here and then some chests around this corner. Yeah, that could be the way to go. And actually, I gotta say, it actually looks quite cool. Maybe, what do we reckon about this entrance? Do you reckon, I actually think maybe if I put some slabs at this level here. Well, that looks quite cool. And then if we have slabs up here too. Yeah, because it was feeling a little bit cramped on the way in there. And actually one thing that has really helped is adding some extra ruining. You guys know, I absolutely love the ruined look. And just adding those extra details in just makes it feel like it melts away into this place a little bit more. You know what? I think we might be done. I mean, what more do you need in a base? We really do have almost everything. The only thing that we haven't got covered inside this area here is food, but that's because, to be honest with you, food farms are way better to do on a large scale away from your base. Okay, if you may notice on the Hermitcraft server, none of my food farms are around my base. They're miles away because they tend to be noisy, they tend to be laggy, and they tend to be quite big too. And to be frankly honest, I didn't want to build another chicken farm or another bread maker in a piston house video. You've probably seen me do that about 100 times. So this is it, ladies and gents. This is our ultimate dirt hut in Minecraft 1.14. I gotta say, I'm chuffed to bits with this thing. I mean, look, first off, it's actually quite a cool design. I really like the way that this little dirt hut looks. And then it has everything that we could possibly need for the Minecraft survival experience. And there's lots of unique contraptions in here as well. For example, you know, we've got these item packaging systems, we've got obviously super smelters, we've got the block swappers, we've just got all the things that you could possibly need. We've got mobile storage systems, we have elevators to get us between the different levels inside the base, which is always pretty nice. Here is the mobile storage system working, so we can gain access to our chests from both levels of the design. We've got potion brewing stations, nether portals, enchanting systems. We have everything, literally everything that you could possibly need in survival Minecraft. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I really do hope that you guys loved it as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.